One of the most important lessons the Stoics teach us is to accept yourself as you are. Often we strive for the ideal, constantly criticizing ourselves for mistakes, flaws, or lack of perfection. However, as Seneca said, one becomes happy not when one gets rid of faults, but when one accepts them. Stoic wisdom teaches us, instead of fighting with yourself, learn to see your weaknesses as part of your unique personality. Accepting yourself doesn't mean giving up on self-development, but it is a foundation upon which you can build healthier and more conscious change. Recognizing and acknowledging our weaknesses allows us to focus on what is within our power to change. If we accept ourselves fully, both our strengths and weaknesses, we can move forward more confidently without fear of failure or criticism. This approach teaches us to treat ourselves with kindness and patience, strengthening our inner resilience. A person's true strength lies not in flawlessness, but in the ability to be oneself without hiding one's vulnerabilities. Solution number 2, don't seek approval. We often care about what others think. We seek recognition, approval, and it becomes a source of anxiety and worry. But the Stoics believed that dependence on other people's opinions was a path to constant inner conflict. As Epictetus argued, if you strive to be loved by everyone, you become a slave to other people's opinions. Other people may have their own views based on their experiences, expectations, or prejudices. But you must remember that your true value is how you value yourself, not other people's opinions. To become freer, it's important to learn to make decisions based on your principles and values, not on the desire to be liked. When we stop seeking approval, there is a sense of inner independence. We can focus on our goals and achieve them without looking past the expectations of others. This does not mean ignoring others, but it allows us to maintain inner balance and confidence in our actions. Solution number 3, free yourself from the fear of loss. Life is impermanent, and the fear of losing something, a job, a relationship, material possessions, can consume you as completely. The Stoics understood that everything in this world is temporary, and so they suggested treating things and people without attachment. Marcus Aurelius advised us to reflect regularly on the fact that everything around us is subject to change and can disappear. This helps us better recognize the value of each moment and not hold on to things that are not within our grasp. Freeing ourselves from the fear of loss allows us to live more consciously and fully. Instead of worrying about the future, we can focus on the present and the values that are independent of external circumstances. When we stop fearing loss, we gain the freedom and peace of mind that allows us to deal with challenges and change more effectively. Solution number 4, manage your reactions. The Stoics emphasize that we cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them. Things happen in life that we cannot change: injustice, criticism, negative situations. However, as Epictetus said, it is not what happens that worries us, but how we react to it. It is important to realize that our emotional state depends on ourselves, not on what is happening around us. We can choose how we react with patience, calmness, or anger. Controlling reactions is a skill that takes practice and self-discipline. By gradually learning to control our emotions, we become less vulnerable to external influences. This approach allows us to maintain inner peace, even in the most difficult situations, and not lose ourselves under the influence of emotions. Solution number 5, accept the inevitability of change. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is to accept the inevitability of change. Life is unpredictable, and many things happen without our control. As Heraclitus said, the only constant thing is change. For the Stoics, accepting change is not a refusal to act, but a wise approach to life. By accepting that things can change at any moment, we find inner peace and readiness for whatever happens. When we recognize that change is inevitable, it becomes easier for us to adapt to new circumstances and cope with loss. It teaches us to appreciate the present moment and not be afraid of the unknown. After all, if we accept change as a natural part of life, we can act with greater confidence and peace of mind, regardless of the circumstances. Solution number 6, don't hold on to grudges. Resentment is a kind of weight we carry inside. It prevents us from moving forward and destroys our inner world. The Stoics teach us that holding a grudge is like harming ourselves. They encourage letting go of grudges and not letting anger cloud the mind. As Marcus Aurelius said, when you are angry, you harm yourself more than you harm the one at whom your resentment is directed. This approach allows us to let go of negative emotions and focus on more important things. By letting go of resentments, we make room for inner peace and mental harmony. Instead of dwelling on the negativity, we can focus on growing and achieving our goals. Forgiveness doesn't mean we forget what happened, but it does give us the ability to move forward without wallowing in destructive feelings. Solution number 7, evaluate events in terms of your inner strength. The Stoics believe that a person's true strength is their inner fortitude and wisdom, not external circumstances. When we face difficulties, we can see them as opportunities for growth. As Seneca said, difficulties reveal who we really are. Instead of complaining about problems, we can use them as challenges to build our inner strength. Every difficulty is a chance to become stronger and wiser. If we approach life's challenges from this perspective, we can learn valuable lessons from even the most unpleasant situations. This approach allows us to remain confident and calm no matter what is going on around us. Solution number 8, control your desires. In today's world, we are often led to believe that happiness is linked to having more stuff. But the Stoics believe that true happiness did not depend on the number of possessions, but on the ability to be content with little. Epictetus taught that if you learn to control your desires, you become truly free. The less we depend on external things, the more independent and happy we become. Controlling our desires helps us avoid frustration and the empty pursuit of material possessions. If we learn to find joy in simple things, we can find inner peace and a sense of fulfillment. This approach allows us to appreciate what we already have and not depend on temporary pleasures and material goods. Solution number 9, don't complain about difficulties. The Stoics taught that hardship is not a cause for complaint, but an opportunity for growth. We can't always control circumstances, but we can control our reaction to them. When we complain about life, we only increase our sense of helplessness. Whereas hardship is actually a natural part of life that helps us grow. As Seneca said, there is no favorable wind for a ship that does not know to which harbor it is going. By trying to see adversity as something temporary and beneficial to our personal growth, we can handle it more confidently. By realizing that hardships make us stronger and give us experience, we become capable of greater resilience and wisdom. Instead of complaining, use these moments to learn and improve yourself. Solution number 10, free yourself from worrying about the future. Often we worry about what lies ahead, causing us to lose our peace of mind in the present. The Stoics, on the other hand, urged us not to be afraid of the future, for it has not yet arrived and may not be what we envision. Marcus Aurelius taught us to focus on the present moment, because only in the present can we act. He said, don't worry about the future, for the future may be better than you expect. 8. By shifting our attention from the future to the present moment, we free ourselves from anxiety. By acting in the here and now, we can make informed and effective decisions without being distracted by non-existent fears. This approach keeps the mind clear and at peace, making us more productive and happier. Solution number 11, work on yourself, not on changing others. The Stoics believed that trying to change other people was a waste of time and energy. Instead, they recommended focusing on your own wisdom and character. Epictetus taught you can only change yourself. This means that for true change and harmony, we need to focus on our own personal development, not on fixing those around us. As we work on ourselves, we become an example to others and learn to deal with differences without conflict. When we recognize that everyone is entitled to their own beliefs, it is easier to remain calm and internally balanced. We also avoid the frustrations that arise when we try to change others but don't see results. Solution number 12: avoid judging others too much. The Stoics taught that judging others is a manifestation of our own weakness. When we criticize someone, it usually has to do with our personal frustrations or expectations. But judging others doesn't change anything about them. It only breeds negativity in ourselves. Instead of judging, the Stoics suggested focusing on understanding and accepting others for who they are. By avoiding judgment, we learn to show compassion and respect for people regardless of their faults. This allows us to build more harmonious relationships and avoid unnecessary conflict. Accepting people for who they are not only makes our lives easier, but also promotes tolerance and wisdom. Solution number 13: free yourself from the need to be right all the time. For many people, the importance of being right and proving a point becomes an obsession. The Stoics, however, taught that wisdom lies not in winning an argument, but in achieving inner peace. The need to be always right creates tension and can lead to conflict. As Epictetus said, wisdom is not about winning a victory, but about remaining at peace with oneself. By freeing ourselves from the desire to constantly prove ourselves, we become more tolerant and open to new knowledge. We learn to listen to others and accept their point of view, which makes us wiser and more balanced. This approach promotes harmony in communication and helps avoid unnecessary disagreements. Solution number 14: appreciate small joys. In a world where people often chase after great successes and achievements, the Stoics taught us to appreciate the simple and small joys. It is in these small moments that we can find true joy and peace. They believe that happiness is not in achieving great goals, but in being able to savor the moment. As Marcus Aurelius said, happiness lies in savoring the present moment and seeing the beauty in simple things. By appreciating small joys, we find balance and gain gratitude for what we already have. This helps us avoid unnecessarily chasing after something unattainable and enjoy what we have in the moment. This approach makes us happier and more satisfied with life,